Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Sosbans and Sidesteps podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, the wonderful Carwyn and mysterious Hugh Griffin. Good evening. How are we, gentlemen?
Evening.
Hello. Got a bit of a sore
Hello.
throat this week, but not one to moan. So I just get on with it, put my big boy pants on, and
Oh no, sore throat. Does that mean you've been socialising with people?
yeah, they let me out of Wales, and I got a sore throat. So read into that what you will.
I I avoid socializing with people as much as I can.
Don't you lie to me. You were telling me about your bloody amazing parties with people from all over the world.
They're purely virtual. They're in the metaverse.
Okay. Anyone had anything exciting this week, or should we dive straight into the game?
Nothing as exciting as the game. Let's
Yeah,
dive in.
nothing more exciting than the
Okay.
Scarlets winning. Scarlets won, just for the avoidance of doubt. Hey, do you think our listenership's going to be bigger or smaller than normal this week?
Smaller because we're
lost.
all still out celebrating.
Well, not that. I think, most of our listenership seems to be from the other three corners of Wales. So, quite funny. So, who wants to go first? The Blues 19, Scarlets 25. First win of the season. Undefeated at home in this first block. Undefeated away from home in this first block of fixtures, which nice to be able to say. So, who's going first? Who do I like the most? Carwyn, go first, Matt.
Oh, you're too kind. Well, it's been a long time coming, and boy, don't we like making it hard for ourselves. But a bit like a good pint of an Irish alcohol beverage, good things come to those who wait. And I think it makes it a bit sweeter because we lost to Cardiff a fortnight ago. They were all like giving it large. Here comes the double. Where are all your chops now after last season? But put that in your pipe and smoke it. As in, you know what? I just think when the chips are down, pressure on the boys, pressure on the coaching staff, a big travelling support in Cardiff Arms Park, or Scarlets fans will live in Cardiff making the short trip down the road. Either or, the place was a sea of red, and yeah, we got a win, and we got a win which we deserved. As I say, we made it hard for ourselves, but there were a few moments in the last 10 minutes of that game. One in particular, I think it was in the last 10 minutes, or just last 12 minutes, because I can't remember the exact minute, which to me could be moment of the season for the Scarlets, as in that Murray tackle is just, well, yeah, no words justify how good, how important, and just what a big play that was, because he had no right to stop the try. But hey, he did. That's why we signed him. Forget the 15 tries. We signed him for vital try-saving tackles. You make 15 of those in a season, I think.
Yeah,
I've managed to pull it up here.
Oh, look at it.
I'll be honest, I
Oh.
thought Hamer Webb was quicker. People are having a go at Ben Thomas for this. I think Ben Thomas has done all right. I don't think he's done
Yeah.
I think Ben Thomas has made the wrong decision there. You can see Murray is waiting for the pass. So, Ben Thomas should have stepped in and then obviously been able to give the pass out or run the whole way himself. You can just.
If you'd have done that, superstar Ioan Nicholas was coming across. He was not scoring. Ben Thomas was never in.
I think that Sean Holly said in his analysis, like Ioan Nicholas wasn't getting there. I'm thinking he might get there. I don't think he's as far away as it looks. He's closer to him than not. That doesn't make any sense. But like
if you run the clip over, look, he's getting that easily.
Yeah.
He's making that with yards to spare.
Yeah, but Ben Thomas steps Blair. Blair's then in a twirl around, and he can give the pass out wide.
But he's still, if you look here now, he's still like he's showing him the outside still. He's still pushing him towards the touchline. So Ben Thomas gives the pass there, and I think, but if you watch Blair Murray's head, the way he's facing him, he's made the decision now. Right now, he knows the pass is given, and now
Pass is going, yeah.
he's already planning. Because if you look at where his feet are, he's not running like directly to the touchline. He's running backwards, and he's almost kind of behind him here. Like the amount of ground that he makes up. Hamer Webb's a big guy. I know Blair Murray's not massive, but then just gets the job done. And just if I just forward to the actual, like, because it was tight.
Yeah, if you can go back to the actual finish, you can see where Ioan Nicholas actually finishes up, where he's almost on the touchline. He's literally on the 5-meter line. So
yeah. So Blair's got him here. He's got him in the middle, and then what Sean Holly pointed out on his analysis is he's used his body weight. So he's used his body weight like a pendulum to swing him around. So he's in there. He's in there. And to be fair, Hamer Webb has done a great effort because he's in the air here now. Look, his eyes are completely fixed on where he's going to ground it. There you go. That's how far away was it? He was. It's like a foot away from actually grounding it there.
Oh, pity.
No, it's been like, yeah. I mean, just to emphasize, Carwin was in awe of Blair Murray before the season even began.
Before we'd even seen him touch a rugby ball. He was just in awe.
And now, well, he's just totally blown away. So, yeah, I mean, we played for, less than an hour with 15 men. And, parts of that were 13. So, I mean, I'm disappointed we didn't get the bonus point try, but at the same time, we did make it harder for ourselves in that aspect. But you can't say no to a win, especially at this stage of the season.
Yeah, the girlfriend asked me twice during this game if I was okay, and to be honest, no, I wasn't okay. No, I wasn't okay. I was sat there genuinely thinking, like, what am I going to say on this podcast if we lose this? Like, for if we were 0 from 4, what am I going to say? Because the thing is, I can't hammer the team that like we were rubbish because we weren't rubbish, and I don't think we've been rubbish in any game. So what am I supposed to say? Like, yeah, we were all right, but we lost again. Like, I just couldn't face it. I'm so relieved. The relief that we actually got a win was just massive, and yeah, made it hard for ourselves. I couldn't watch the last 5 minutes. I was convinced. To be honest, I thought so long as we make him score in the corner, there's no way that Sheedy's kicking the conversion. So I thought we had that in hand, but I was just, like I said, I couldn't have faced it if we'd have lost. We needed that every day of the week, and without being a passion merchant, the way the boys fought for it. Obviously, Johnny and Eddie were both fantastic in this game as well, on defense and attack. And probably right. Here's a question for you: was this our best performance this season?
I don't think so. Like, I honestly thought the opening game bet against Benetton was probably the best that we've seen. Cardiff at home has been our worst. I can openly say that because we just did not click at all in the final third. Connacht, yeah, we should have easily won that game. So, but no, this is probably on par with Connacht last week. I'd say Benetton's our best, Cardiff home's the worst. These last two games have been about the same.
Carl, how about you?
I think the difference is, obviously on this podcast, we thought we'd win in Benetton because we don't think we lose ever because we're one-eyed, foolish Scarlet supporters. And before the start of the season, you'd have probably thought, oh, there's more chances of winning Cardiff than out in Benetton. What I do like about this performance, and I think a partnership that's developing beautifully, is our centres. I know Max Page started the season very well and rightly got to start both first games. But I just think Johnny and Eddie look like a different pair to last year. Johnny Williams seems to have found a new lease of life. Obviously, there's a lot of talk in the summer. Would he be here? is he going to sort of, not in the Welsh setup now, is he going to sort of just say, okay, I'll take the cash and run? But he stayed, and yeah, that, well, if you're not watching the pod, you won't see our I won't call them sex faces, but our joyous reaction to Johnny Williams battering through from Eddie's wonderful layoff. But they just seem to have clicked, and
Yeah.
It's very hard to see Joe Roberts, who you'd argue is probably, or was, our best centre when he got injured, making it back into the team, because despite them being, I guess you could call them a similar style of player, they're tearing it up in midfield, and they're sort of making it look easy as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I actually agree with you on that front. And unless when Roberts does eventually come back, he's going to have to find form off the bench, because you shouldn't split these two up. And you've paused that at the absolute perfect time, Hugh.
It's the soft hands of death, Matt.
It's not the soft hands of death. It's the eyes of disguise. Watch where Eddie James is looking when he gives the pass. He's looking straight at Ioan Lloyd in behind. And that's why Ben Thomas holds off.
Oh, yes. Look at that.
You don't teach a rugby player that. You've got that.
What they've done is they've targeted Sheedy. Both of them are running at Sheedy, down Sheedy's channel. And, you could say that Ben Thomas maybe should step in and help out. But Sheedy's passive, I'm not here to like bash opposition players. That's not what people tune into this podcast for. But Sheedy's defense, not his strong suit. And he's quite passive, and he just lets Eddie just do what he wants with him. And just puts Johnny through the hole.
I think that's good coaching, though, isn't it? They've seen that the best point of attack against Cardiff is to run at Sheedy, and we've done it with our two biggest backs, and to great effect. So I could watch that. I could watch that try every day till the day I die and never get bored of it.
I do think. I think when Joe comes back, though, he'll put on a performance and we'll go, oh yeah, you're really good. But we have gone from thinking, oh geez, do we even have a functional centre partnership? Do we need to play Ioan Nicholas there? To, oh, we've actually got quite a few decent centres now. Was Max Page on the bench in this game?
Yes. Yeah.
Didn't come on.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. Now we still have issues, even though we've won.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many different components to that, right? And it seems to be something that's working in terms of that second carrier, or be whatever you have, whether it's 12, 15, playing that line with the soft hands with the men again. It seems to work quite effectively. We saw it with the Joe Roberts, and was it another Johnny Williams try quite recently? Is something that functions really well in our attack. And obviously, we'd love to see more of it, but the more of it we do, the more it gets read. So, sprinklings of it in each game. It's working well, and I'm happy to see it going forward.
Yeah. Statistically, this game wasn't particularly interesting. It was a bit similar to the game in Cap last year, where about five, I remember doing a thread last year, 5 players had like amazing games last year, just individually, rather than it being a great team performance. And that's almost what happens this game as well. And I think, we need to talk about him, Ioan Lloyd. So we were all quite surprised, I think it's fair to say, when Sammy was on the bench and Lloyd started. But kind of justified Dwayne Peel's faith, really, and it's turned out to be a great selection choice by Dwayne in the end.
Yeah, obviously we won. You can't say boo to a goose when you've made a decision and it's paid off. One thing I will say is, obviously we know Ioan's a runner. It's what he likes to do. He likes to beat people, and obviously he made the second try by doing a duck dodge, dip dive, and dodge. But I was surprised at how long he stayed on the pitch, especially after that Johnny Williams try, being 25-12 up.
Yeah.
one thing I do like is the fact of having Sammy on the bench means that he's going to be coming on at 10. So we do have two different options at 10. Like, obviously, Ioan Lloyd can play anywhere, and obviously 10 is one of them. But when he's on the bench, it's not even close to guaranteed he's coming on at 10. So we're only going to have one style of play for the whole game. But with it this way around, okay, we've got two different game plans here. We're going to run everything essentially for the first, 40, 50, 60. And then, if we need the control in head, we bring him on. So it's something I can appreciate in this moment.
I think, though, it was a one-off, wasn't it? As in, I think it's good man management from Peel, realising Costello's been under the cosh a bit. He knocked on late in the last game, he's probably knackered because he's played so much rugby. So just take him up the firing line for an hour and give Lloyd, who's a very capable 10, a run out at outside half, and then change it back again. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if Costello plays the next 3-4 matches at 10 again now, just because he is our number one choice. As it stands, he's Wales's first choice. But I do think that was a good bit of player management by Peel and just taking him out the firing line and taking that pressure off his shoulders, because for the past 2-3 seasons he's probably felt the weight of Llanelli on his shoulders. And after all, he's still very, very young. So hats off to Dwayne with that call, as in brave, but paid off well for him.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do want to add in there is, he was pulled out of the first game because he was ill. So, we're only 3 weeks on for that. So you've still got to manage. It's still a return to play. He's still in that, that first 4 to 6 weeks, after coming back from something. So the management does have to be there. Whether it was a small illness that takes you out for 48 hours or a massive knee injury, you've still got to pace yourself coming back. So, yeah, happy with that. Phil?
Yeah. Like I said, not a statistically interesting game, and I think the fact that we went down to 13 skews the stats quite a lot, because it just meant the last 10 minutes was one-way traffic, and it just boosted all of Cardiff's stats. So not much to learn there. But what is interesting stats is for the season so far, just bear in mind all the conversations that we had last season around how the Scarlets play. Scarlets are currently in the URC ranked as the best kicking team. We have the second best line-out success, and we've won the most scrums in the URC after 4 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't know what's real anymore. Who are we? I don't get it. But Mark, before you just talk about that generally, I want to know your impression so far of our new tight head prop, Henry Thomas, who looks like a warrior at the end of the game, bleeding all over the place, jogging around.
Honestly, I had planned a lot of Henry Thomas content in this, and one mistake he made throughout the entire game, which somehow led to someone else getting a yellow card. I'm still a bit baffled by that. But he was outstanding, and he absolutely smashed Ed Byrne. There's no other way to describe what he did. It's like I started doing a little scrum count as I was watching it. The first one, Thomas won a penalty. The second one, obviously not all of our own ball. This is as it goes back and forth. The second one, he's got Byrne under the cosh. The third one, he's just totally capitulated him. Honest to God. And this is something, if you watch the whole game as well, when, who was it that came on? It must have been Litterick. So obviously you're watching Henry Thomas's side of the scrum in the first half. And if you watch the way Ed Byrne hinges and goes down, that is a loose head hinging. And if you go to the second half and you then see Litterick going down, you see the difference between when the loose head is hinging and when the tight head is overextending. It was just another great example of it, but he was outstanding. I raved about Harry Thomas last season with his form, his technique going into and everything, and Henry Thomas, oh my God, that was a thing of beauty to watch. And Ed Byrne is no matter what, X amount of violent cats been with Leinster for years. He took him to school, And bloody hell, he just wiped the floor with them. I am in awe of this man's scrummaging skills. He did absolutely everything you could possibly do to win the upper hand there. It was brilliant.
I really got the vibe just from his body language that he was loving the game as well. The way he was walking around, the way even when he got substituted, when he was bleeding and he had like blood in his eye and things, he was like, "Yeah, this is what I live for."
Born for that job, wasn't he?
I don't know if any of you have seen it yet, but he's given an interview with someone. It's part of the URC. Like it'll probably end up on loads of different websites. But he was saying, I was 3 years in the top 14. All they do is they focus on that set piece 99%. That game is won in that set piece. And he said he loved it to death. He prides himself on his scrimmaging. That is his strength. That is what he brings. And by God, did he show it on the weekend. Oh, that was a masterclass from a tight dead. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Ed Byrne was in therapy for the next 6 months. He's really done a job on him.
I think it's amazing to see as well, isn't it? Because obviously we tend to talk about the Scarlets and this amazing backline, flourishing, sexy rugby out the back, But this season, as in hats off to a pack in every game, they've stood up and been counted for, and they've put a real shift in. And I think, yes, the results haven't really gone our way, but it feels like a united team again, and that they're all playing for each other, playing for the region, playing for the fans, and results will come. I know I've been a bit, what's the word, critical maybe of a poor start, but looking back now, having got over that winning line, I think we've seen enough from this team, from this squad, to believe again. And I know we're a million miles off top four or Champions Cup or anything like that. But just in terms of a team that goes out there and gives it their all, I think we're very much on the way back to seeing that. And as fans, that's all you really want, really, is knowing that your team has given everything in every game. And last year, look how many times we were out of the game at half-time. This year, okay, we may have been on the brink of being out of them, but we got back into them. And yeah, it feels like the dark clouds are slowly disappearing, in my opinion.
100%. If we're going to nitpick at this result and critique something, I'm going to go for our discipline.
Again, yeah.
Again,
it's been a problem for well over a year now, and this is probably the thing. We're just repeating ourselves every week, but discipline and bench use is the two things that you can just point your finger at Dwayne Peel and say, you're getting this wrong at the moment. And 3 yellow cards in a game again, we're getting it wrong.
I mean, I'd like to get each of your opinions on these yellow cards. I don't understand how Lousy was sent off.
You very rarely see those. Ironically, the World Cup final is the only other game where I've seen a yellow card for lower limb, landing on the lower limb.
Yeah, I have seen them given for land on the lower limb, but only when you're doing the croc roll. He didn't. He was cleaning out from the side, and Craig Evans specifically said, "You done the croc roll and landed on a limb." That didn't happen.
And you've answered your own question why he was yellow carded there with 2 words. I won't say them because I don't want to get in trouble. But
no, I actually brought this up online. I got a little bit of stick, but in all honesty, a lot of people sort of agreed. Why are we having Welsh people referee Welsh derbies? They people like, understand at Christmas time, Boxing Day, New Year's, fair enough. But when we're flying South Africa and it's to referee a bloody Scotland-Italy club game, why are we not getting an Irish or a Scottish ref down to do a Welsh club game mid-season? It's not festive. There's no reason to it, and unconscious bias is always going to be there. You can just look at 12 penalties to 9, but one team had 3 yellow cards. One team was down to 13 men. They had a man lying literally across the rack, blocking the ball, not even making an attempt to move in front of the posts, and nothing has happened. You can see the ball. There's little incidents like that. Like, I know he wasn't great for either side. I'm never going to say he purposely goes out of his way to pin one side. I'm not that person. But you see little things and you're like, well, it's an easy remedy.
With the yellow cards that we got, I think the comms made the point on the last one with the penalty try of they'd scored anyway. Like if you I haven't watched it a million times, but I believe they said like they had actually scored anyway. So, and he wasn't. Do you remember they gave the yellow card to the wrong man initially?
Yeah, Sam Wainwright.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've even watched that back, and I don't think Josh McLeod has actually pulled that down. I think it's just the force of the Cardiff pack coming through that's made him go over.
I think that Tom Rogers was unlucky with his one.
Harsh. Like,
because if you watch it, because he's moving, he's not just stood there, he's moving, and when you move, you don't move like that with your arms down by your side, do you? You move with your arms up, and his arm is up before the Cardiff player throws the ball, before the Cardiff players release the ball. Tom Rogers' hand is there, and it hits his hand. Like in football, for example, if that was a penalty, if that was in the penalty box, you wouldn't be giving a penalty for that. So for me, it's accidental. It's not the rule is deliberate knock on, isn't it? And it wasn't deliberate.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, whether or not it's a yellow card is the referee's discretion. You can give a penalty for that and not give a yellow card. It's not automatic. I think a different ref on a different day, yeah, we could probably give a penalty for VM, but we could have also seen us stay with 15 men for the full 80. But
I think that's what we saw with the Josh McLeod's yellow card was he made his mind up that somebody was being binned, and that was that. There was no sort of thinking twice about it then. Even though they scored, he made the decision he was yellow carding somebody, and as you say, on a different day, that's just a try and we move on. But yeah, it was just I sometimes feel like they try and add spice to derbies with sin binnings and stuff when it doesn't. There's enough spice in these games anyway. There's enough going on in Welsh rugby that the man in the middle can just blow when he has to and let the games roll over because, yeah, these boys are playing for more than more than just pride at the moment, aren't they? So, fortunately, obviously, it didn't cost us the most important stat of all, which is that massive W that stays in the history books forever. And
5 in a row in cap.
And yet again, Cardiff don't do the double over the Scarlets.
I tell you one moment in this game where I was raging, like I was pacing around the house with how angry I was. Blair Murray's break up the left-hand touchline, passes it inside to Tane Plumtree. He's celebrating, the crowd are celebrating, I'm celebrating. What's his name? Millard comes out of nowhere, cuts him in half. We give away a penalty, we give away another penalty, we give away another penalty. We're in our own 22. Having literally 30 seconds earlier, I thought that Tane Plumtree was running unopposed under the posts. Now we're in our own 22. We give away another penalty. Sheedy, to be fair to him, distributes it perfectly and they score in the corner. I was furious. I was like, we should be 2 scores up at half time and we're a bloody point behind. I can't believe it.
Yeah. I've seen people look at that and say, oh, Plumtree should have done better. He should have headed to the corner. I don't think he had the time to do anything.
I think he should have fended. I think he should have put his arm out and smash the bugger in his face.
Yeah. I just looking at it from all the angles and when he's actually turning to physically see, I don't think he has the time to actually do anything. Yeah, Plumtree's got pace, and I wouldn't be surprised if he could do Millard. No disrespect to him, but Plumtree he is a bloody athlete. Same with the likes of Fifi Fita. But it is what it is. We won in the end. That should have been our 4th try. Yeah. So
just sorry, two last Standout Performers. Cowdor, 4 tries in his last 2 games. Now joint record holder in the URC with Steph Evans for his most Scarlets tries. Still most try scoring scrum half in URC history. And we just mentioned him, Tane Plumtree is probably our player of the first 4 games so far.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Cowdor did have a poor 250th game because he's a different beast since then.
Yeah. He does need to kick the ball further, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and he needs to buy Evan Jones flowers or something.
In regards to in regards to the top try scorers, so there are 3 Scarlets in the top 5/6 because 5th is tied top try scorers in this league's history. You know, obviously Cowdor, Steph Evans, and the magical DTH Van der Merwe.
Canada legend.
I still miss him. Honest to God, I can remember being at the park and he didn't score the try, but he caught a kick from a kickoff, and he must have been held up about 5 meters from the line. He was a different animal of a player. They talk about Ioan Van der Merwe being a beast of the South African playing for someone else, but DTH, oh my God, he was a real animal.
Is that what we're starting here? DTH Van der Merwe is better than Ioan Van der Merwe. Is that the hill that we're dying on?
We know that. Yeah. So Ioan Lloyd, man of the match. Obviously, already discussed Henry Thomas, absolute beast of a scrummager. Centers, Blair Murray. No, who anyone else stand out? I mean, we're going into like double figures of players who stood out now.
Alex Craig is a good player.
Yeah, very good player.
Kemsley Mathias is yet to be penalised at the scrum this season.
And winning some for fun.
He's really sort of impressed me and making a shout for just give me the shirt. There's no reason to talk about it anymore. Just give me the number 1 shirt. Yeah, I've been very, very impressed by the way he started the season.
Yeah, it's been downhill for Hepburn ever since he sat in between Archie and Charlie at that.
Yeah, he spoiled the party.
Lunch.
This is what happens when you spoil a party.
So that brings us kind of away from our first win of the season, and you've just sort of touched on it there with Alex Craig. Some rumours, some nasty rumours going around about him. Someone suggested he might be going up to Glasgow earlier because, who is it? One of the Greys have left.
Richie Gray, isn't it?
One of the Greys have left, not one of the Greys, just making that clear. It's Scotland. What are your thoughts on this, boys? I'm a bit downbeaten, but I expected it to happen, just not this soon. So, how do you want to really try and perk us up a bit?
Obviously, he's been phenomenal for us. Our player of the season last season. He was a revelation. When we did our squad rate at the beginning of last season, we said points to prove. We thought, oh, you think you're all big time coming here? I think you're just going to play second row for the Scarlets, do you? Well, we'll see about that. And then he was our player of the season. So, yeah, it looks like it's true, and it's a huge loss for us. To be fair, we were all questioning, weren't we? Why did we sign Max Douglas? Why did we need him if we got Lousy and Craig? Like, turns out it was a good idea that we did sign him. Look, I think Alex Craig's motivation the whole time since he's left Gloucester has been to get back into the Scotland team. He's done that. And if he moves to Glasgow and they've got a second row partnership of Cummings and Craig, that's a very, very, very good second row that they've got there. That they can compete with the South Africans with a second row like that. Very good players. And if it's a case of he's just open and honest with it and says, I want to play for Scotland, that's my country, and the best way for me to achieve doing that is to go to Glasgow, who, by the way, are the URC champions as well. You can't really argue with it. It was the same with Tadhg Beirne, where he said, I want to play for Ireland, so I've got to move to Munster. What can you say? We can't say that he's been anything other than excellent for us. We're fortunate now that we've got Max Douglas, who looks like he can play. And it's a shame. And it does weaken our squad, definitely. But I can't have any hard feelings towards him if it's all to do with playing for his country.
Yeah. Like I said, I was resigned to losing him at the end of the season. Like I think we all kind of knew that he was probably going to go in the summer, but for whatever reason, he was able to sign a contract for another year. My kind of feelings behind it is, yes, he wants to play for Scotland, and, we're not going to stand in that way. We're not going to stand in his way to play for Scotland while he's still here either, just to make that clear. We've given him this chance to reignite his career. If he's just going to up and go mid-season, then, we need to be compensated for that. This is very much a case of a player in contract, hasn't given his lifeblood, his career to the club. Like we saw last season, Johnny McNichol leaving, but he gave a majority of his professional career to us. I can understand that. We gave Craig the platform to reignite his career, and if this is just a case of we'll let you leave by mutual consent or whatever it is, I think that leaves a bit of a sour taste considering what we have done to help him with his career.
How about you, Carl?
Yeah, obviously, with as you Matt said there, I think we were all expecting come the end of this season he would venture back up to Scotland, because he hasn't hidden the fact he's got aspirations of playing for his country, and wouldn't we all if we were in that position? I do think, yes, it'd be a loss, but I think we've recruited well, and with time, I think Douglas could become that link we've sort of seen in Craig and the type of player he is, and he certainly hit the ground running. He seems to love his time in Wales, because let's not forget, he told us in an exclusive interview that his first foray into Welsh rugby was watching Cardiff, but no, he saw the light and came down west. So he's obviously passionate for playing for the Scarlets, and obviously if you haven't seen or heard that interview, it's still available on our socials. But yeah, as in losing a player like Craig, you're gonna feel the pinch. He's an international player for a reason, but I do think had this happened a year ago, we would have been crying, screaming, throwing our toys at the pram. We might still do that, but I do think we're in a position where we can ask for the compensation we want, because hey, this is what we gave him. Now we need to get back from that. And B, I think we've got a few players capable of stepping into his boots, and I'm going to put my neck on the line and say outgrowing them.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, look. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if if Australia don't mind picking their non-Australian based players. I wouldn't be surprised to see Douglas in there if he keeps on in this vein over the next coming seasons. And if not, he'll be 29 when he becomes Welsh qualified. So there's still a good few years left, and he was a lot. So Max has got a lot of room left.
That's a good question. Who has been the best second row in Wales so far this season? Because Taff Jenkins is injured. I know this isn't a Wales podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this. It doesn't matter if Taff Jenkins is injured. Gatland's going to play him. We know this. He's told us this. Outside of these Cardiff games, I haven't paid a lot of attention to the other regions. I've watched a little bit of the Bulls game, but that was...
I really rate Ben Carter at the Dragons. I would be picking him for Wales if everybody was fit anyway. Anyway, that's not what we're here to discuss.
It's not. It never is.
So our closing thoughts on Alex Craig is, you can leave when you pay us the money.
Yeah.
£25 million.
Well, they gave Toulouse gave Edinburgh €500,000 for Blair Kinghorn. So we've got to be expecting at least $1 million for Alex
20
Craig.
times that, sorry.
Yeah, Craig is a pure commodity. So I think this is a nice point in the podcast. So I can just say, if you're enjoying what we're doing while you're listening to it, please give us a like, share, follow, subscribe. Every little bit of helps. Comment. We love your comments. And what should we move on to next?
Comments, yes. Well remembered. Carwin has 3-word thoughts on Facebook.
Oh, yes.
Well done. I've gone off, phone and locked. This isn't. I was going to ask what the name of the podcast is, but that wouldn't go down well, would it?
Fill the dead air.
Yeah. What have we got coming up this week, Matt?
What will coming up this week? I managed to sit down with a fellow beard enthusiast in Manus van der Merwe. Quick little chat interview, very much the Max Douglas style. If you haven't seen that one, please click on. So that should be coming out, what was it, Wednesday midday? So, well, this will probably be out the same time as this then. Am I right in saying that? How you were?
I think yes. Well, it depends if you experience time in a linear fashion or whether you subscribe to the theory that all of time happens instantly and we just experience it in a linear fashion. So depending on which of those versions of reality you subscribe to, yes. Carwyn, have you found any 3-word thoughts?
I found the 3-word thoughts back in the game.
Yes!
Good padding, gents. Good padding. Right. So Ioan Leclerc, who's a top fan, we did, and then one word really, really well. We'll take that. Sarah Greener, we needed that. Technically, Betty Hughes has sent 7 emojis, but there's only 3. So there's clap, thumbs up, and rugby ball. So clap, thumb, rugby. Ian Humphreys, super Scarlets. James Jones, at last Scarlets. Patty Race, much more determination. Andrew Goff, we love Cardiff. Yeah, don't we all? Don't we all? Mandy Tucker, Craig Evans, poor. Peter Davis, West is best. Oh, but Mandy's come back again. Great committed display. Daniel Ioan, great game. Come on, Scarlets. I know it's 5 words, but we won, so I'm willing to forget the 3 words for now. Phil Breakspear, onwards and upwards. Paul Daniels, that bloody last.
Isn't Phil Breakspear a referee?
I think so. That sounds about right.
I doesn't say that on his Facebook. Doesn't say that on his profile, so I cannot confirm nor deny if he's a referee.
Was it there?
Simon Morris, exactly the same at bloody last. Gareth Young, win for Peel. Sean Sheep, finally still work-ons. Tony Barron's a lot better. And then we've got another one we did really, really well by Lewis David Charles Graucott. I hope I said the surname correct. Apologies if not. And Lee Patterson. And this is a good place to finish. Are we back?
We're back.
We're back in fashion.
So some lovely 3-word thoughts in there, and it's just amazing now that we've got you reading them out, because I think either last season or whenever it was, we were discussing whether someone typing 100 counted as 2 words. Now we're letting like 50 go. It's brilliant.
Only when we win against Cardiff. So I won't let more than 3 go again this season.
If Carwyn was a referee, he'd just be like, play on for everything. Play on.
Yeah. If I didn't see it, it never happened.
Exactly. So, is this a safe time for me to talk about the community, or do we have anything else first?
The anything else will come after the community.
Yeah, I think I need a break to breathe while you're through the community.
Okay, I will share my beautiful screen.
I'll tell you why I want to hear about the community. I want to hear about the mighty Quins on their rampant title charge.
What is happening?
The mighty Quins. All right, then we'll start at the beginning, which is always at the top, which is Super Rugby Cymru, SRC. If you want more details on these games, come and listen to the SRC podcast released on Thursdays. That's my real jam. So the first game we talk about was Llandovery heading to Newport for some Thursday night lights.
Big game.
S4C, yeah. And the one point I'm going to make is Llandovery have been having, quite a poor season by their own standard. They haven't been, getting thumped, but they're just really passive in letting games get away from them. So coming up against an undefeated Newport in Newport, not a Rodney parade for some awful reason, which I'm not going to get into. So yeah, Llandovery winning 30 points to 28, and that might sound close to you, but it was literally the last 10 minutes. They were 30 points to 14 up, and they knew the win was in hand, and they let Newport back into it.
30, sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Community. 30-14 up, or as we like to call it, the 6-point margin.
The 6-point margin was coming onto that. Thank you very much. Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
If you win by 15 points or more in the SRC this season, you get an extra attacking bonus point.
Ah.
Even more incentive.
Crazy, stupid rule.
Yeah, nothing for defending teams. We don't like defending. We just want attack.
Oh, who cares about defense? I care quite a lot. No Will Evans in this game? The Gingerbread Metallic not present?
No Will Evans, no Morgan Jones either. So the boys we had representing in the 15 were Gabe Hawley, Ed Scragg. Nice to see him back. And the one and only superstar, Jack Davis. This was Gabe Hawley's, I believe, his first competitive start in a senior game of rugby. Boy, did he do a good job. Now, obviously, Henry Thomas, he's a lot older, a lot more experienced, smashed his performance out of the water on Saturday. But I was really impressed with Hawley on Thursday. He really held his own in that scrum, and obviously against someone like Harry Fry, who's been around for a good while, played a good standard of rugby, there's you can't knock it. So still a lot more to come for Llandovery, and I think the last 3-word reaction or whatever it was can be used here too. Are we back? I think the Drovers are on their way back. Yes. So we'll come on to the other game. Carmarthen Quins at home to Pontypool. 41-31 win for the Quins. Straight in, boys we had represented in the 15, we had Keanu Evans, Gabriel McDonald and Yori Badam. And on the bench, we had Callum Woolley. Now, Hill, I know you want to hear more about this game, but you are going to have to wait a little bit longer. Honestly,
why?
Quins... Because I'm not giving the full rundown here. You've got no chance. That's like 10 minutes of my talking time tomorrow. So Quins were awesome. And attacking wise, they seem to be really clicking this season. And it's something great to see. They are still undefeated at home. So Carmarthen Park, the Bowl, whatever you want to call it, is becoming a bit of a fortress. And I love to see it. So games for this week. For the Super Rugby Cymru, we've got Llandovery at home to Swansea. I think that might be the Thursday night game again.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tune into that one. Oh no, I can't. I'm reporting a
Llandovery only win on telly, so
exactly.
If you want to back the home team, I'd just like to say as well, I need to apologise to Quins at Llandovery because on the Welsh pod we give a Super Rugby Cymru prediction, and I went Newport Pontypool win, so apologies, Llandovery and Quins. I got it massively wrong.
Oh, well, I'm going to put this in here because I'm majorly happy this week. I'm the only one of the boys who got 5 from 5 in the SRC this week.
Ooh. Brave man.
Yeah. So, Llandovery at home to Swansea on Thursday night. Team only wins on TV, and Swansea the only winless side left in the league. Then Carmarthen Quins are travelling north to RGC. That is going to be one hell of a tough game for them. RGC are not what we're used to. They have been very resurgent this season, beating the Drovers up there as well. So, nothing to be taken for granted.
How are they getting there? Are they going by helicopter?
Aircraft I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking ferry, really. I'd like to go around the whole island.
That would probably take less time.
Probably would.
Probably would. That's a sad thing. Okay, dropping down into the proper community now. So we've got Premiership Rugby. Llangennech winning 28-23 at home to Cardiff Met. Great win for there. Newcastle Emlyn putting up a show against Neath at home, but going down 48-27 in the end. And Narberth...
Can he be relegated from the Premiership this season?
That is a good question. And I'm going to pause and leave it at that. Because I'm not 100% sure. This probably should be... Because with 13 teams, it can't be done anymore. I'm not liking it. I don't think the teams are liking it. But I'd have to find out that one for you. Ready for...
Tune in tomorrow night to Super Rugby Cymru to find out more. Endless plug for you, Matt.
Endless. I'm really happy now. So Narberth made the trip down east to the House of Pain, and they experienced a bit of a battering at Sardis against Pontypridd, 52-23. This is not the Narberth we know and love. Llangennech seem to be the best performing team in this league, and I wouldn't have backed that at the start of the year. So fixtures.
No, I was just going to ask you, Matt. Do you think it's a case with the Premiership, especially, that the fact you've got a mix of teams who have been playing at the top level for donkey's years, and then you got a few teams maybe who this is their first venture into the Premiership, and they're just taking a bit of time to get used to the increase in intensity and sort of what's coming back towards you?
Yeah, 100%. Well, 100%. What was that? 100% agree with it, especially with the top three teams. Merthyr and Pontypridd miles, and I mean miles above everyone else, and then Neath are best of the rest just behind them. No, but I don't know what's going on. No, I expect them to be around the same levels as Bargoed, but it's not quite going that way so far this season. But, long old season to come. We're only a few games in, so they will pick up. Fixtures for this week, we've got Narberth at home to Newbridge, Llangennech travelling to Bonamine, and Newcastle Emlyn travelling to Cross Keys. That's going to be a tasty one for us to keep an eye on. Championship West now, Crymych going down 29-32 at home to Gowerton, and Ammanford winning 48-22 away to Meister Quins. Llethley Wanderers with a bye. Love a bye. This week, Crymych are travelling to Tondi, Ammanford at home to Ystalyfera, and Llethley Wanderers back in action at home to Dunvant.
Can you give me a shout when Ystalyfera are playing Dunvant? Because that is the Griffin family derby.
I'm sorry, you've just been removed to the Ospreys Ely podcast. Yeah, no worries. Okay.
Don't swear on this podcast.
I can assure you that my grandfather did not support them. Moving on.
Yeah. I'm thinking he was probably a Gosainan boy at heart, and he really emigrated a bit further west, like they all do down there. Okay, we'll drop down into one west now. Bury Port with a massive 63-41 win at home to Pencloud. St Clair's travelling well, 30-17 win away at Ponta del Ice. Tenby winning the top of the table clash 27-12 at home to Aberystwyth. Well done, Tenby. Kidwelly losing 24-13 away to One Island, and Hendy winning 61-24 at home to Wellingborough. Big scores in there. We haven't seen any of that this season.
No, sorry. Can I interrupt again? Sorry, Matt.
I'm waiting. Come on.
All right. Just want to give a shout out to St Clair's here, because their captain, Jack Howells, signed by Quins to the SRC, and they ventured upon their lives without him. And hey.
You moved into SRC territory here, Matt. Come on.
Well, just want to congratulate him on the move, but also St Clair's on picking up a big win without their talisman for the last few seasons. I got community knowledge as well.
Just for clarity, he started at 13 alongside Gabriel McDonald for the Quins, and he had a try-scoring debut. So well done to the lad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fixtures for this week: Aberystwyth at home to One Island, Wellingborough at home to Ponta del Ice, St Clair's at home to Pencloud, Bury Port travel to Tenby. Kidwelly were meant to be hosting Hendy, but that fixture has been moved to the 22nd of March. Not 100% sure why, but obviously weddings, funerals, it's normally something of that nature. Division 2 West, Carmarthen Athletic winning 38-10 at home to Whitland. Lampeter against Milford postponed. I think this is now more than one game Milford have postponed, so a bit of a concern there. Larne winning 43-12 at home to Nancaredig, and Fishguard winning 18-17 in Loughor. I've heard they've got home safe. Our thoughts and prayers are all with you. Carry on for the season. Betters with a bye in this round. So this Saturday's rugby now. Fishguard at home to Larne. Carmarthen Athletic with a daunting trip down to Loughor. Milford at home to Betters. Nancaredig hosting Lampeter, and Whitland get the bye. Probably a good time for a bye for Whitland. Really, I get sad every time I see a Whitland result lately. It's not nice.
According to Wikipedia, Mike Phillips' last ever game of rugby was for Whitland.
Yeah,
he is a Whitland boy, same as Ali Davis as well. They do.
Isn't Foxy from Whitland?
No, Foxy played age grade rugby for Narberth. Because my age grade rugby was for Whitland, and Foxy played for Narberth. That's who else Whitland who played for Whitland is Mama Molly Tika's brother, Fakata.
Ooh. We're getting some really niche knowledge here. I'm liking this.
Good quiz question for you.
Okay, to West Central now. Burnham, the only team in there that ever we're interested in. They picked up a win 35-20 at home to Resolvan. They travel away this week. Now, I've never actually read this team, so I don't know if it's Maesteg Celtic or Maesteg Celtic. Can someone help me out here, or are you all in the dark?
What do they call the golf?
Maesteg Celtic.
Yeah, don't they call the golf place Celtic Manor?
Yeah.
But that sounds strange saying Maesteg in a West Central division, but I don't make the geographical maps of the WRU.
We've had map conversations on this podcast, and it just made things worse.
Yeah, like, to be honest, Bridgend are somehow involved with a Western team, so that says enough. Okay, 3 West, Tumble winning 31-29 away to Cardigan. Kevin Nathan and Haverfordwest playing out a 17-all drawing Kevin Nathan. Aberaeron, yes, Aberaeron winning 34-5 away to Llandailo. Llangara winning 43-12 at home to Army United. To Croes winning 33-70 at home to Ponteberem. This week, Army United are hosting to Croes. Llandailo travel to Cardigan. Haverfordwest hosting Aberaeron. Kevin Nathan travelling to Ponteberem, a very, very long trip for them, if you know it. Tumble hosting Llangadog. 4 West, Pembroke Dock Quins winning 48-17 away to Llanybydder. Narberth Athletic winning 29-17 at home to Pembroke. Neyland and St David's postponed. St David's put a post out. They've got some injuries, players unavailable through work, and a funeral. And this game will not be replayed. Neyland, I don't know if it's for whatever reason, but they can't agree on a new fixture. So St David's will be getting docked points for this game. Crymych Tyro winning 17-13 at home to Newcastle Emlyn Dreigiau. Langham with a bye. Games for this week, Pembroke at home to Neyland, Pembroke Dock Quins at home to Newcastle Emlyn Dreigiau, St David's hosting Llanybydder, Langham. What am I doing? Langham travelling to Crymych against Tyro, and Narberth Athletic with a bye. 4 Westby, Furness winning 31-18 at home to Llandibby. New Dock Stars out winning 45-12 at home to Binya.
Thanks for coming, Binya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
This is brilliant. I'm so glad that the YouTube viewers can't see your faces. Can they still see your faces? Because I'm
only the one who's talking.
Oh, great. Trimsaran winning 50-28 away to Pennebank. Pontiacs winning 48-26 at home to Pandervannan, and Tregaron going down 25-30 at home to Fall Bay. Fixtures for this week: Binya at home to Furness, Pennebank travel to Fall Bay, Llandibby hosting Pandervannan, Tregaron hosting Pontiacs, and New Dock Stars travelling to Trimsaran.
Jiffy Davis, your boys are going to take one hell of a beating.
Boom. Dewar Shield is back this week for the final round of regional fixtures. Carmarthen schools are hosting RGC West. Pembroke schools, who will be going into the Dewar Shield proper knockouts, travel to Llechley, and Mynydd Mawr hosting Ceredigion. That brings everything to a close for the community game. And that was fun. We had a lot more input this week. I like it.
Yeah, I'm starting to remember the teams from week to week.
It's only taken, a year and a half?
Yeah.
You've done well.
Yeah, do you want some 4 West B goss as well while we're at it?
Go for it.
So Pontiacs obviously ran away 48-26 winners against Pantyffynon, but apparently 21 points were conceded by Pantyffynon in the last 10. So it was on a knife edge after 70 minutes. For those interested, Pantyffynon have done a very good write-up actually this week of all the first 5 matches, I think, including the big cup win. Enjoy that.
I will say this. I'm really happy to see Pantyffynon where they are now, playing back in the West Leagues. Same goes to Pennebank and Pontiacs. Never understood how Pontiacs were playing in a West Central League when you got Trimsaran and Ponteberem and all, they're literally touching them playing in the West. It just made no sense to me. But they're home. We just need to bring Brennan home, and I'm sorted for my leagues. I can get rid of one. Okay.
Before we go any further, we've had a letter.
Does he remember that they lost 18-17 to Fishguard before he wrote this?
It's from Jac From Loughor, or JFL, as he's now abbreviated to. He says this, book the open-top buses, roll out the marching bands, and declare a national holiday. The Scarlets have won a game of rugby. I have no doubt that your deluded podcast will expect them to win the World Cup next week. Well, as long as you keep playing this exciting, attacking rugby, you can count me out. Yours, Jac From Loughor. Well, that brings us nicely onto the next game, doesn't it, boys? Because we are actually playing the world champions next week. So, how do we think that's going to go?
Well, I mean, I want to respond to Jac first. I mean, he knows the World Cup isn't next week, right? You know, but I do fully agree. Yes, we will win the first Club World Cup when it happens. I watched some of them against the Ospreys, and like I'm always going to be positive. I'm always going to say the Scarlets win. They don't scare me. Like I've seen Leinster teams. Yeah, I've seen Leinster teams, and I've seen La Rochelle. I've seen
Yeah, but we were really good back then.
No, I'm talking like in the last 10 years. I'm not talking about games Scarlets have played. I've seen teams that have gone, crap, we've got no chance against them. I'm like, I don't see that with this one. And looking at our record against South African teams at the park, we can do this. Come on, boys, we can do it.
What is our record? I know you've been preparing this. Read it out to the people.
Okay, so I won't go through each individual game. I'll just do a little one. So we've played 13 and we've won 10. The Bulls have never won at the park, and no South African side has ever won twice at the park. Our biggest losing margin is 5 points. So
is that the Stormers?
That is the Stormers.
That was the season they won the title, wasn't it?
Yes, that was our last game of the season.
It was the last game of the regular season. They won the title that season, and they only beat us by 5 points. And that was that was a Dwayne Peel Scarlets team as well, wasn't it? That was
Dwayne Peel has done all the URC, I believe. Yeah, so I just added up and I forgot about. Yeah, Bulls and Sharks lost by 5 points to both of them. Arguably should have beaten the Sharks in that game as well. But we perform at home against these South African teams. So I'm positive. I'm very positive. Yeah, we're winning. Come on.
Do you have a perspective, Carwyn?
To the listeners and viewers, Martin has lost the plot. No, he hasn't. As in, I do believe it'll be a very much a changed Bulls side. I think with the big squad they've brought, on paper and based on last year's results, their first game, they'd argue, is their toughest on paper. And seeing as they did that I wouldn't say so easily, but seeing as they did that for most of the game with 14, or most of the second half with 14 men, they'll probably think the next two games will be a doddle, so they might play a few kids. I don't know. I know I shouldn't be thinking like this because we've just picked up our first win, but it's hard not to. It'll be hard. As in every game of this league is hard. Let's be honest. I don't know if we've got enough to beat them, but I think we've got enough to push them close. And at the moment, I'd see that as a mini win because I'm taking this season in my preseason prediction, 4 out of 6. This was one of the 2 we lost. So technically, I've still got that to fall back on, even though the 4 out of 6 went tits up after week 2. I'm gonna say a narrow defeat because when we win, then it can be it'll be an even bigger celebration. Because I don't think I can put myself through we're gonna win by 7 and then lose by 35. But perform like we've performed, and anything's possible with this squad, I tell you. Could be dancing in the streets of Llanelli come on Friday night. And we seem to love a Friday night game.
Yeah, we do. This is the second one now. We got another one next week as well, Zebra at home. So, you know, that's definitely one you're going to want to come down and watch. It, experience or win at the park. 100%, 99% guaranteed win at the park.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, with that in mind, can I ask a question? I'm very inquisitive this evening, I know, sorry. With sort of taking off our one-eyed we'll win every game of the season hats for a split second, bearing in mind we're playing the Bulls, then Zebra, do you pick a team this Friday with one eye on that game, or do you go fully loaded for both?
I think as a point of principle, you're at home, you pick your best team, is my standing on that.
For my stance is, yes, we do look ahead to Zebra, but we play that the same attention as we do the Bulls. We win both of them. We would play our strongest team.
So, right answer. I was just checking.
So I just want to say, if there's people listening to this, and I'm sure there is, who don't like the URC and want us to leave it, blah blah blah. I'm not here to argue the finer points of that, but this is one of those games that just view it as an exhibition match, just because some of these players that are coming down the park, because I think they will play their full strength team. I don't think they brought Willie LaRue to sit in a hotel room in Swansea, I assume. Like I think they're going to play them, and these are players. Like it's weird to see them here in Wales playing against the regions, and you'll be telling your grandkids like, it's Willie LaRue. I saw him play at Parky Scarlets. Curtly Aronson, I saw him at Parky Scarlets. Curtly Aronson could easily be nominated for World Player of the Year this year. These are double World Cup winners. These are world-class players. If you're naming a World 11, some of these players that are in this team that come into the park are going to be in it.
But can you correct yourself, please? Do you realise where you got wrong?
Well, Blair Murray. I should be picking Blair Murray over
No,
Aronson.
You said World 11.
Oh, sorry. World 15. Sorry.
Where is his mind at? Oh, my God.
Okay,
I thought you were going Blair Murray as well. I didn't click the
11. So if you're just a rugby fan, if you just love watching rugby, you got to get down to the park to watch this, because this is almost a once in a lifetime thing, seeing these players. The problem with the Bulls is, from the opposition point of view, is even if it's someone like Leinster are quite formulaic in how they play. You know, like these, like you could write it on a whiteboard. You know, these 3 things. Watch out for this against Leinster. Against the Bulls, it's like 20 things that they could do to you. It's like, do we focus on set piece? Okay, well, they'll probably beat us in that, but you know, at least they're weaker in the back. So no, they've got world-class backs. So this, what does the team meeting look like? Like Eddie and Johnny and Sammy and Ioan Nicholas are all sat in a room right now going, right, who's marking Curtly Aronson? Right, I'll mark Curtly Aronson, you mark Willie LaRue. Who's marking Caelan Moody? No, shit. Okay, I'll mark Caelan Moody, you mark Curtly Aronson, and Eddie, you mark Willie LaRue. Okay, who's marking Papier? Right, okay, Cowder, where's Cowder? Cowder, you're marking Willie LaRue. Like, it's just like you can't account for them. So it's a chat. We're going to hear the word learn and challenge and test a lot in the next 7 days. And that's just the reality of what this game is. So, question then, where are you heading with selection to play this game? Because I will come to me last, because I've got a very specific plan of how I'd approach selection for this game.
Okay, guess that means I go first. I'm not changing a great deal. I do bring Costello back in. You already know my preferred back row. Tuapolotu with Plumtree and McLeod, even though I will say that Davis and McLeod worked really well together in this game. Much improved there. And the only other change I would make in the 15 is I would start Sam Wainwright over Henry Thomas. And that is simply because the balls are stacked in the set piece. And if we bring on Sam Wainwright and Alec Hepburn together, that last 20 could be horrendous. And no disrespect to Wainwright or Hepburn, it's just at this minute, Kemsley and Henry are vastly superior in their positions, and I want to keep a steady balance in that strength of the scrum.
You starting Marnus or Elias?
Marnus. So everyone else is basically the same. So if I just run it through it all, it'll be bloody easier. So Nicholas, Rogers, Murray, Johnny and Eddie, Costello and Cowdor, Carwyn, Josh, Tain, Lousy, Craig, Wainwright, Marnus, and Matthias. Obviously, that switch on the bench with Wainwright and Henry Thomas. I bring Max Douglas back in. I bring Jared Taylor back in. Dan Davis drops to the bench with Ioan, Lloyd, and Max Page, so a 6-2 split.
What are you thinking, Garwin? Any changes to the 15 that played? And he said 11 then. Any changes to the 15 that played Cardiff?
Not many. I'm going to try and think here like Dwayne Peel as opposed to like myself. I'd go. Well, I say that, but then I'm going to say I'd go 6-2 on the bench, and we all know Dwayne's probably not going to do that. But yeah, I think I would go 6-2 on the bench because we know what I know. They bring a lot in the back line, but South Africans bring so much up front that you need boys hitting 100% throughout, and the more reinforcements we've got on the bench, the better that is. I don't think he'll change much. I think he'll pick. I think he'll start the same pack. He'll start, let me just. I'm having a mare now. I say I'll start the same pack, but he may not. I probably would start Douglas instead of Craig because we don't know the situation at the moment. We don't know where his head's at. We don't know. He might be up in Glasgow training as we speak. We don't know. So I'd like to think we'd know that though. So is that Max Douglas? I'd start Costello. Mainly because I don't think Ioan Lloyd's running dunk, dodge, dip, dive, dance, dart, whatever else he did, is probably going to work against the Bulls, and I don't want him to get slaughtered in midfield. But yeah, and I take the game to them. It's almost a free hit, this game, because nobody apart from Matt is expecting big things, I don't think. And I hope you're right, Matt, because it would give this pod a whole lot of credibility if you were the only one to predict a 5-point win for the Scarlets in terms of getting the bonus points. So I hope you are right. But yeah, a neat game plan. Don't deviate too much from the game plan. Stay in the game for as long as we can. And yeah, not too many changes for me.
Okay,
easy.
Who's very specific game plan now?
Yeah. Okay. So here's what we do. So the Bulls are going to come out of the blocks flying. They're probably going to score in the first 5 minutes. The thing that the Bulls always do is they start like a house on fire and they always dip in the second half. They always dip in the second half. So what I would do is I would stack the bench. Now, I'm a big believer in if you play well, you keep your jersey. So if we were playing Stormers, if we were playing Lions, if we were playing Sharks, if we were playing Munster, if we were playing Glasgow, I'd say, yeah, Ioan, Lloyd, you stay in the 10 jersey. In that first 50 minutes, we're going to be doing a lot of defending, and we need our best defenders on the pitch. Sam Costello isn't just our best defensive 10, I think he's our best defender, full stop. So I would bring him in, I would stack the bench and unload the bench on 50 minutes. So that means that I would have Ioan Lloyd on the bench, I would have Max Page on the bench, I would have Cowdor on the bench, I would start Evan Jones, I would have Sam Lousy on the bench, and I would go Alex Craig and Max Douglas just to have the two massive boys start the game. And then I would start with our best front row because we've got to just go at it. Or plan B, let's play Harry O'Connor. Because then he's injured and we'll go to uncontested scrums. That's
doesn't work that way. Oh God, no.
That's my plan, and I'm doubling down on it. That would definitely work.
Like, I am in agreement with you. We do need to stack the bench, but Dwayne's not gonna use the bench. You know,
all the games, Dwayne, this is the one. This is the one.
But there's no way he's benching Cowder either. If that happens, I'll eat your hat. No, I won't say that now because he'll probably do it. Having listened to this pod, be like, I'll catch Carwin out. I can't see him dropping Cowder.
I would also bench. I would start Carwin Tubelotu because again, defender. And I don't know who I'd drop. It is tough because the back row did go quite well. You can't. Plumtree's undroppable at the moment. I would probably drop Dan Davis to the bench.
Because you're going to start your captain, aren't you?
Yeah, or I would have Jared Taylor on the bench because I think he's got the potential to be a great. Oh, yeah, or both with the 6-2. Come on, Dwayne. It's 2024. The 5-3 is dead, man. But that's my plan that I think would rescue 2 losing bonus points against the Bulls.
What? Ooh. What? 5 match points. It's 5 or nothing. That's how I feel.
I'm pretty sure you're going to get at least one of those things, man.
Yeah. And I'll give you a clue. It's not 5.
Well, we can get 6.
Super Rugby rules.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree with too much. I do still feel positive enough to say that we can win this one. And winning this one is a marker. I think you win against this Bull side, and people start thinking, okay, maybe they are a bit more competitive than we expected.
I will say that in all 4 games so far this season, our opposition has started the game kicking to touch and has ended the game taking the 3. Apart from Cardiff, who can't kick goals, but that is a trend. So if we can force the Bulls into taking the 3 rather than kicking for touch, that's a moral victory.
We've worked wonders.
Yeah, but they're very much like Glasgow. They won't kick unless they really, really have to.
They've got Akko van der Merwe on the bench. He was in the Premiership final like 2 seasons ago, starting for Sale, and now he's the second best hooker at the second best team in the URC.
Crazy.
Got Cameron Hanekom on the bench. He'd start for Wales.
Wouldn't start for us. Carwin all the way. And that's you, not Tubelotu.
Standard.
Yeah, I'm always going to be positive. I do think we can win this one. I don't think we will win this one. I'm hoping to get down there. I'm hoping to maybe see one of you down there as well. Like you said, there's not many opportunities to see these Bulls players play at Parker Scarlets. They could be leaving for a different team in the summer. They might not even be back for another 2 years. Who knows where this is going? But it's going to be a hell of a show to watch. And I, for one, I'm very excited to see what we produce.
Me too.
Me three.
I think it's just gone flat. So you two are being boring Bull supporters in this episode. I'm the only one backing our boys for the win. I'm disgusted. And on that point...
You haven't asked me my prediction, actually.
What is your prediction?
Scarlets by 2.
Yes! Carwin?
Yeah.
Are you ready for bed?
I'm going to be optimistic. Bulls by 9.
Oh. No, okay. Let's have a sacked. Not even sacked in the morning. He's been sacked right now. We beat the Bulls by 9 in the first time we had them at the park. So,
have you seen the squad they've got staying in a hotel just off Loughor Bridge?
Yeah, it's nothing, man.
Oh man,
that must be weird. That must be weird. Someone has seen Lee Aronson in a co-op in Swansea, like
buying a soul.
Yeah.
Did you actually...
they sell biltongs in Lidl. They'll have been in there.
Yeah, like, I'm going to be honest, these boys are paid South African wages. There's no chance in hell they're shopping in a co-op. Okay, so Carowin's been relegated for next week, but other than that, thank you very much for listening, and we'll do it all again, celebrating the Bulls win next week. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Bye.
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 Bye.